Hello fellow sprue snippers and glue sniffers, welcome back to Blitzkrieg Model Works. I'm Bob, you know me as Darklin on the forums. How's it going, everybody? Sorry I haven't published anything in, a month and a half. Kind of lost my mojo there for a while. Kind of forced myself back into it the last couple of weeks, and things are chugging along slowly but surely. I know this has been a very long project, but as I warned some of you in some of my earlier videos, I am a horrifically slow builder at the best of times. I've never been known to finish anything quick until recently, but that's a whole other story. This is going to be a bunch of different updates, mostly on the Panther II series. What you see in front of you is the Panther II early version that I'm building. It has come to the paint level. So the idea behind the early version has, if the Panther F project had actually come to fruition, and if the Panther II upgrade had actually worked, which it wouldn't have because the recoil of the gun would have interfered with the turret race, and it's very technical, but an 88 in a Panther would not have worked. I wanted to replicate a factory fresh vehicle with full stowage, coming out of the factory in fresh paint and being painted with the initial coat of camouflage paint. So it wouldn't have any markings, wouldn't have any turret numbers, wouldn't have anything, there's no weathering. I'm going to put a very, very light filter on it just to kind of accentuate the detail in the weld seams and whatnot. But this is what we've got so far. I've already done the filtering on the road wheels. The inners and the outers. Turret is pretty much done. This is actually the turret off of Dragon's retooled Panther F kit, which I've added on the extended matlet for the Panther II. It's actually a piece that glues onto the initial matlet, and I blended it in and did a cast texture. As you can see there. I added in this ring. I put this on a lathe that I have at my workshop at work, and tuned it in just slightly with some Ming conical bolt heads. This is the Aber 88mm gun. This is actually for the E50, but it would be the same gun. But the turret is, outside of the mods that I did, this is the factory Panther F, retooled Panther F kit with copper wire for the foliage loops. Rather nice. It looks really good. The hull, we've got a full complement of Aber. The nightmarish tool clamps, which actually kind of work until you glue them in place. The nice engine deck screens. Anybody considering photo etch, start with engine deck screens. It's the biggest bang for your buck. The track stowage is actually custom. This is all evergreen. One kind of broke off on the other side while I was painting. I got to fix that. Stowage bins are factory. I still got to do the exhausts yet, with some Aber photo etch clamps. And on the other side we have more tool stowage, again with the nightmarish Aber clamps. Most of this is photo etch. All the thin stuff is photo etch, including the fenders. The fenders are photo etched too. I'm debating whether I should put the side skirts on or not, because the only side skirts I had, I don't have Aber side skirts. All I've got are the Edward. I mean, these are old, 94, but the spacing is different. The spacing for the holes is totally off. No matter what you do, the spacing is just out to lunch. So I might just leave them off, or I might just make my own out of sheet styrene. And then the base, I found this stained concrete picture on the internet, and I just printed it off on photo paper and then glued it onto this base I picked up at the dollar store for like $3, and just stained it with Minwax golden oak and then some Polyshades clear indoor varathane. I'll have to emboss these and then dust it with some dull coat to blend it in. But at the end of the day, it looks pretty good. And then for painting, I'll just get this guy out of the way here. And then for painting, or for figures, sorry, this is the guy. He's not done yet, but he's from Tank. And they actually make a set of figures for painting. He's going to be holding a spray gun. I actually have it right here. Haven't done anything with it yet, but that's the spray gun he's going to be holding. I have to cut the handle off to fit it onto his hand. But I'm still working on the shading, still working on the flesh. He's still shiny because of the oils that I'm using, but he'll get, you know, shot with a matte coat. But he's coming along pretty good. And then there's a secondary kit, or sorry, secondary figure. And I'm not really working too hard on him. Don't know if I'll use him or not. He's supposed to be holding a crowbar. Let's see, got a little bit of paint, shirt paint on there. But it's going to be a very simplistic diorama for a compressor. I actually have this old Little tool shop kit. I'm going to be using the compressor. Very simplistic. I think it's an American compressor, but I've seen pictures of German ones and they look pretty damn close, so good enough for me. And that's where that one goes. The Sturm Panther II, which I won't even bother bringing over the whole diorama, is still pretty much stuck at the last stage that he was at. I haven't done anything. I was actually waiting for, where did I put them? Yeah, I lost them. There's a little baggie of bricks that I had ordered that I wanted for debris for the mini art diorama, the diorama kit that I'm using for it. And they were sitting right on there, and it's not there now. I don't know what I was cleaning up earlier. Oops, that's always a bad idea. But anyway, this guy is going to get a coat of rust first. That is going to be sealed, and then hairsprayed, and then a coat of primer. RAL, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. The red brown primer, and that's going to get hairsprayed, and then it's going to get a coat of the green gray that the Germans would have been using right near the end of the war, because this is supposed to be way after, you know, 46, 47-ish, and then scrubbed off and then rusted. It's going to be in pretty rough shape by the time I'm done, and then put in the diorama. So this one's going to take a little bit more, and there's going to be a lot more weathering, unlike the early Panther where there's no weathering at all on it. And then number 3, which I haven't really done a whole heck of a lot on. He's kind of in pieces. This is going to be the Panther II late version, which is basically going to be totally stripped and devoid of any tools. The fenders are coming off. There's going to be some track stowage. It's very rudimentary stuff, you know, kind of like just build it and get it out into the field and shoot Russians. This is the Aber barrel. I had to build up the end with some tape. I actually had to cut the end off. It's a little too long. It's meant for the Trumpeter E50, but it works in here with a little bit of work. And the really cool thing, I don't know if you saw this in one of my earlier videos, is these suckers have rifling. That's so cool. The turret, again, I'm not using the Dragon kit turret. This is an old turret from a company called Chesapeake Model Designs that did a Panther F/2 type turret. And so that's what I'm using. This will also have the sliding, the sliding crew doors, as opposed to the hinge doors that would open up onto the outside. The F was supposed to have sliding hatches. So that'll be in there. And there's a Facebook group called Panzerfakten, which go by all kinds of technical stuff, but there's some, like, you know, very, very late war stuff they do too. But there's also a website. I'm just going to look it up on the computer right now, if I can find it. paperpanzer.com. And they've got a really cool 1946 figure set that I want to get for this, and it addresses some of the things that I always question, like why didn't German armor crews have helmets? They had like padded berets and padded hats, not helmets. But these guys actually make a 3-man crew set with that, with helmets and some rudimentary body armor that they might have been issued at the time, which is kind of cool. So I'll use that and some other very late war stuff that I've been finding out about that I'll get into more when I do this. So this is going to be quite a while. I still got to get a photo etch set for the grills and whatnot. I thought I had a set, but apparently I don't. Now, getting back to what I said earlier about how I'm really slow builder. Well, since it was so slow at the store, for those that don't know, I own my own business, and it's a retail store, not model related, by the way. But it's been so slow, I've been taking some old kits that I've had kicking around the stash and just taking them to the store to build. And this was the first one, and I got it built in about a week. This is Tamiya's old M48 patent tank, M48A3 if I remember right. And this was built straight from the box, and yes, I do have the Commander's cupola. This was built straight from the box, gloss coated, deckled, and then I sealed it really quick, and then I started doing some washes, and it's kind of sat for a couple of weeks. I haven't done anything with it. I mean, the wheels don't even look anything different, and this is how the kit started, so I still got all of those to do. But that's all on its way, and I'm actually really surprised. You can still see the film on the decals. I mean, this was an original issue kit from, like, God, I can't even remember how old this kit is. You know, it had motorization holes. That's how bad it was. But it took a lot of microsol to set that down. And I'm actually surprised it set. This is a two-piece decal, and it actually set that down really, really nice. And this is all out of the box. I didn't do anything to this. A little dust on it. But it's turning out pretty decent. I'm going to use these kits to kind of practice my weathering on, because my finishing game is usually my weak spot. I'm pretty lame, I think, on doing my finish work and my weathering. Now, in the time that I did that and did all the painting, I also finished a Tamiya Challenger 1 Mark III. I picked this up at a swap meet, God, probably 20 years ago for like $10 maybe. Didn't have any instructions. Thanks, Switcher, for sending those to me. Barrel's not glued in, turret's not done. There's still a few loose pieces right there. Because I have to put have to paint it first and then put the wheels on before I can put everything else together and put the tracks on. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but at least with Tamiya, everything's kind of just clicks together. And while there's a bit of a seam there's a big armor package that goes across that you don't even see. And then on top of that, I've got a really old Dragon, a BMP1 that's almost finished. Do not recommend that kit at all. It is horrible. If you want a BMP, get the trumpeter one. If somebody offers the Dragon one for you for free, don't take it. It's bad. Mostly the suspension is horrible. It's really sloppy. Nothing lines up properly. There's no keys for anything. The drive sprocket actually rubs up against, well, it doesn't even rub up, it jams into one of the front shock mounts for the suspension. But it was one of Dragon's first kits, of the first year that they started making stuff back in the early 90s. So I just thought I'd do it up and maybe do a finish geometric pattern on it, because they include decals for it. So that's what I got done right now. I've had a few people asking me for info about the shop, and went, oh, well, I remember somebody was asking about the paint that I used for the Panther II, and this is what I have. I keep all my old bottles. Dunkelgreb is RAL 7028, and it's a mix of 7 parts of XF60 and 3 parts of XF2, and I actually put in probably about a 50% mix of my brush cleaner, which I can put a recipe for down here. This is Gill Mondragon, Red Dragon Model Works. His recipe, and I found it works really well as a thinner as well as a brush cleaner. Works actually really awesome. And don't worry about the blue tint. I've tried it with white paint and it doesn't even show up. It's so thin. It's silly. I can put the recipe up for that. But I have a whole bunch of recipes for Tamiya to different RAL colors, including the primer I just found on an app that I have on my iPhone. I'm just pulling it up now. And it's, well, there's no title for it, but it's called iModel Kit. I'll just pull this up. iModel Kit. And they have all these different standards, which is really cool. But what you can do is do things like, okay, I want an RAL color, and let's just pick something kind of, let's look at the primer, what the heck. 80, was it 8017? No, it's 8012. So it tells you those are the best matches out of the box, but you can actually do a paint mixer as well. There's a paint mixing thing here. So what I have for my notes is 8012, and you can see that's their representation. It's going to be different on the screen, but the closest I could come with for primer is XF9 3 parts, XF2 1 part. So I'll see how well that sprays. But I have all kinds of other notes. 003 for the that's for the olive green, because the best shots out of the box, and you can see there's a lot of discrepancy, and there's going to be some difference between what you see on a screen resolution and what you actually have for a color plate in real life. But that's just what's available. And again, this is iModel Kit. It's called. It's free download. I'm presuming it's available on Android. I use an iPhone, but it works really well for me. So anyway, one last thing. I noticed logging in, I haven't logged into my YouTube account, the backdoor account, for a long time, and I noticed I'm up to like 117 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. That is so cool. Thank you very much for all your support. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, I mean, by all means, put them in the comment section below, or feel free to PM me about things. I'm not the brightest light in the warehouse, but I have no problem letting guys know how I did something, my opinion of stuff, things like that, and it's no BS. I'll let you know what I think and how I did stuff and how it works. As far as I'm concerned, there's no secrets in this hobby. Everything we do has been done before by somebody somewhere. So thanks again for everybody, and I hope to do another video here really quick. Get some painting done. This should go really quickly. The figure's coming along really fast, so I'll get all that done, and I'll talk to you guys later. And thank you so much again for watching. If you haven't, like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Thanks guys. Talk to you later.